Guys, I made a huge mistake on the Cutlass build. For those of you who don't know, I've been restoring this 71 Cutlass for about 2 years now for a buddy of mine, and I have absolutely loved the journey that I've had with this car. But along the way, I've made errors and mistakes that luckily haven't been too expensive for me to go back and fix. I'm always learning and I'm always trying to get better at being a car builder. Mistakes are just a part of life. Really, you just have to learn how to fix the mistakes as easily and as cost effective as possible. But one of the mistakes that I've been kind of pushing off for a long time has to do with the roof of the Cutlass. Originally, this Cutlass roof was pretty rotted. It had a lot of rot in this section back here, and I was able to do a couple patches, but it warped the roof really bad right here. Not only that, the roof was pretty pitted, but my plan was to just get it blasted, get it epoxy sealed, and then bodywork the entire roof. And that is exactly what I attempted to do. I got this roof blocked out pretty flat, but then I noticed that I kept having the same low spots over and over and over again. So I originally thought, okay, well maybe they're low and I just need to keep mudding, but the problem is once the mud gets too thick, it will crack. And as I got looking at this roof, I found out the whole roof was actually oil canning. Now, oil canning happens when the metal is too weak, and you can see how much that moves right there. It's doing that in all the spots around the braces inside the hood. So what I tried to do to fix this was I actually did 3 layers of fiberglass on here to try and stiffen up the roof, just because I really didn't want to have to go and redo all of this bodywork. That was kind of like my last straw to try and fix this roof before ordering a new one. I came back this morning after I did all the fiberglass work, and I realized that the whole entire roof had sagged where I put the fiberglass. So I'm not gonna re-bodywork this and put more mud on it. I am going to completely cut off this roof and replace it, so that I can get this car ready for epoxy primer and then hopefully get it ready for paint. So let's get the cutoff wheel out and let's get this roof cut off. The majority of the roof is cut off just like that. It was pretty simple, and the roof is right here. It actually amazes me how flexible mud is, because I was blending this a pretty good amount and that mud isn't cracking. It always amazes me when you actually test these things out to see. A lot of times these materials actually hold up a lot better than you think they will. So now I'm gonna go ahead and clean up all of these roof rails, get all this old foam off of it, and then I'm also going to start to go around and trim off the rest of these edges of the roof. That way I can get it prepped for the new roof. The only thing that you really have to be careful of when doing this is you don't want to go all the way through the other layer, because you don't want to replace that. You're only going to be replacing the top layer. But looks pretty cool. If I wanted to make it convertible, it'd be pretty easy to do right now. Okay guys, well it's been a minute, but the new roof for the Cutlass is finally here, and I've actually got some help in the garage right now. Katie is in here helping me rust seal the entire top of this inner structure. I want to do all of this so it's coated before we attempt to put the roof on. I got most of the stuff trimmed away. I still have to strip and trim this away, but I'm gonna wait until all of the rust seal is dry, so probably come back tomorrow and do that. So that's the plan for tonight, is we're gonna finish rust sealing the roof, and then tomorrow I'm gonna be able to grab this and hopefully start to mock this thing up and get it welded. Okay, well, it has been a couple days. The roof is dry, and then I also went along and I trimmed up all of this so that we can get the roof fit up perfectly against that. So now that everything is coated, I'm gonna turn my attention to the roof skin now. You can see I've got all of these little Sharpie marks on it, all the way across here, all the way across here, and then same thing on that other side. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill holes here so we can spot weld this to the body of the car. I remember when I first got into cars, doing complete panels was super intimidating to me. But really, if you take it slow and you get the majority cut out first and then kind of go around and trim the edges and make it all perfect like this, it's a lot easier than you think. It's really not that hard. So I usually try and do my spot welds about every inch or so. That is more than, say, the manufacturer would recommend, but I would rather be safe than sorry. So I'm gonna do a couple extra tacks. So I'm gonna drill all of these holes out to 5/16, and then I'm gonna grab Katie and we are going to mock up the roof one more time. Okay, the roof is ready to go on for the final time. Everything is prepped and weld through primed, and we are ready to go. So let's get this roof thrown on, get it clamped into place, and we can start welding. Look at that, fits so nice. Okay, all right, we're ready. Holy crap, roof is on. Ooh, oh, it looks so good. It fits really nicely. You can see how it sits almost perfectly in that seam right there. It lines up really nice back here. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of trimming right there. I did have to trim it a little bit on the other side to make that fit, but come around to the front, I mean, that fits almost perfectly. Wow. So cool. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the clamps and I'm gonna clamp the back into place and the front, and then I'm gonna mark out where all of these spot holes are. That way I can clean the metal underneath. We'll pull this back off. I'll clean it. We'll throw it back on for the final time, and then we can start welding. Get this baby clamped. With the majority of the roof welded up, now I have to turn my attention to the B-pillars. I'm going to be building some patches to cover up the seam where the quarter panel meets the roof skin. From factory, they would actually just fill this seam with lead, But since lead cracks over time, I'm going to be building these patches out of metal and completely welding them in. This is not only going to strengthen the area, but it's also going to ensure that this never cracks out. And I feel like this is a step that a lot of people forget to do when they do either a quarter patch or a roof skin. After the patches on the B-pillars were finished up, I moved to the drip rails. I'm going to be deleting the drip rails on this car, so I'm just going to be welding up that seam, so it's going to be a flush finish in the end. This is probably one of my favorite modifications to do to these classic cars, just because they look so good with the drip rails shaved. I can't wait for you guys to see the end result. Okay, so I got the rails of the roof, the drip rails of the roof shaved off and it trimmed up, so I have about a 1/4 inch of space to be able to weld. So now to finish this up, I got it all tacked into place. I did a tack about every 2 inches, and then I also hammered this edge flat a little bit. We're gonna be able to body work this into the edge and make it seamless and look really good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pretty much tack it all the way across. I'm gonna do probably 4 or 5 tacks at a time and then pull it, because I do not wanna warp the roof. So I'm gonna get this welded, and then I'll jump to the other side, do the exact same thing, and then this roof is almost there. Okay, so now that both sides are welded up and finished, I gotta come back here and finish grinding these welds right here. So usually you wanna do all of your bodywork over epoxy, but as for us right now, we're about at the point where we're going to re-epoxy this entire car. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna grind this just barely to put some nice scratches in it for our mud to adhere. I'm gonna go through the pencil grinder and grind all of these dirty spots inside the welds. You can see all right here where there's any black. We're gonna go and clean that out so it's perfectly fresh, clean metal. I'm gonna go all along this, make sure everything is clean, and then we're going to smear 8115, also known as panel bond. It's an epoxy over this, not only to strengthen this part, but to fill all of these little imperfections. We'll come back tomorrow, sand that, and then we'll be good to throw mud over the top of this and get this thing in epoxy primer. Okay, so we are ready to foam the inside of the roof and spread some 8115 on these. So inside here, you can see that there are some roof braces. So these need foam in between them and the roof, just to make sure that the roof is supported. Okay, so it's been a couple of days and the 8115 is fully cured now. So now what I'm gonna do is I am going to sand all of this in 80 grit. I don't wanna break through. I just wanna make sure this is scuffed. And then I'm gonna be doing my body work over the top of this, blending the roof into the quarter panels. is started on the top of the roof right here. You can see all of these super deep scratches. That is 36 grit. What I like to do when I body work is I like to green cut it. So when the mud is like 75% cured, like semi-soft, that's when I'm gonna cut it with this. It cuts it down really, really fast and smooths it out. And now that I got all of this kind of smooth and you can kind of see that shape taking place, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna sand any spots that were a little too deep. So like right here didn't get sanded, I'll scuff that. And then I'm gonna remud this entire thing one more time and then block it out one more time, hopefully finishing up this spot. This is by far definitely the fastest way that I have found to do body work, is green cutting with that 36 or 40 grit. It just helps it go by a little bit quicker and you don't have to sit there and sand and sand and sand your life away. So I'm gonna get this mudded one more time and hopefully that'll be it. Alrighty guys, Cutlass is almost done. I decided to make a little bit of a list just to show exactly what's left on this car, what I need to finish up in this video. So it is a extremely long list, longer than I thought it would be, but I'm gonna go through and knock out each one of these things, and when we get to the end, the car will be ready for the second round of epoxy primer. So let's get sanding. Well, the bodywork on the Cutlass is done, finally. That took so long. I'm gonna grab it, we're gonna push it over here and then roll it outside to blow it off. That way we can finally look at it in the sun with all the bodywork complete. This is the first time I've blown this car off in like the whole time I've been doing bodywork on this, so there's gonna be a lot of dust. Rip my wife's roses. Alrighty, bodywork on the Cutlass is officially done. So now the next stages of this build are gonna be finishing all the little fabrication that we have to do and getting this thing in epoxy primer so we can block it all out one more time and get this thing ready for paint. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for updates on this car, and honestly, this has just been a ton of work for me. It's been about 6 months of me working consistently on this car, at the same time working on the Blazer. So there's gonna be a lot more frequent updates on the Cutlass now. You guys are gonna start to see a lot more content on this car. So if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up, like, subscribe. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys quickly on the next video of this car. So peace out, see you guys next time.